I think I had a patient who came in on Monday with foot pain from
Yeah.
running, and they did have a stress fracture. They're not
Yeah.
actually training for this marathon, but they're running for they run very regularly, but they increase their running. And just I always have this phrase: if I'm treating a runner, it's a stress fracture until proven
Yeah.
otherwise. And stress fractures definitely build, don't they? Sometimes you can
Yeah.
have an incident, but generally they build. And every run, you run on a Monday, you run on a Wednesday, and it's a bit better at the beginning, but then it builds and then it gets a bit worse and then it doesn't settle down in
Yeah.
between. And I think the important thing is if you press a bone and it really hurts,
Yes.
then you should definitely get it checked out. And
Yeah.
this person was fully aware that they may have a stress fracture because they'd had one on the other side, but they kept running. And actually, there's a stage before a stress fracture, which is a stress reaction, where if you stop running, even just for 2 weeks, it won't develop into a stress fracture. So
Yeah.
I think that's good advice because it may not progress on, but if you just keep ignoring it and don't get the right information, and if
Yeah.
you see physios that know what they're doing and see lots of runners, that's often at the top of our mind, isn't it? Is this a stress fracture?
Yeah, and it can be really, really frustrating because you're often trying to train for an event. But the thing to remember is if you end up having something that does need a couple of weeks rest just to give it a chance to really settle, maybe with a bit of rehab alongside it, depending on the type of injury, often these people can still cross train. They can still get on a bike or in a pool or on a cross trainer or do something. And with running a distance event like a marathon, it's just about building the minutes, really. So if you have to do a couple of weeks and it's boring, but all your time is on the bike, but you still do 4 hours a week on that bike, your fitness is not going to suffer very much at all, if at all. You'll feel rusty when you first go running again, but your fitness will be okay.
And a good physio will not just say stop everything, because there's very few injuries where even with a stress fracture, you may take a week off, but then you can start getting into the pool and that sort of thing. So my next question leads on quite nicely, really, which is you've talked about cycling, you've talked about cross trainer, and I can think of one patient that I saw that was doing that for about 6 weeks before I saw them, and they had just lost too much time. They didn't have enough time on their feet to be able to do the marathon. They unfortunately had to pull out, and I wish they'd come a lot earlier. But how much benefit is cross trainer and cycling and swimming to performance in a marathon?
So really quickly, interestingly, swimming doesn't seem to have as much carryover. So if you take people who are injured and can't run, and some of them cycle and some of them swim, the cyclists will do better. Doesn't mean you can't swim, but it perhaps won't be quite as effective as doing something else. But it might be the only thing you can do. With the type of injury, might be actually the only thing you can really do is get in the water for complete non-weight bearing, and that's fine. If that's all you can do, always focus on what you can do. I think it can have a really good role if you use it as you need to. And what I mean by that is you need to sort of match your sessions. If you have to shift onto a bike or you're adding bike work in, again, what's the goal of the session? So if the goal is just to maybe replace that 5-mile Monday run because you're a bit tired and achy, then 5 miles on a bike will only take you like 15 minutes. So you need to switch it for time and say, okay, 5 miles was going to take me 40 minutes. So I need to be on that bike for 40 minutes. And I need to feel like the intensity matches the intensity of me running, which often means going a little bit harder on a bike to reach that sort of heart rate level and things like that. You can, interval sessions, switch onto the bike really nicely. But again, it's harder to get heart rate zones as high. So you have to work a bit harder. And if you're not used to it, it can take a little bit of getting used to. So it won't give you the benefits of sort of musculo-tendinous, muscle tendon, bone adaptations because you're not getting the impact, you're not having to absorb the forces. But from an energy systems, aerobic capacity, cardiovascular system, it's a really, really useful swap out. And you can maintain, done well, and that's the thing, people just often pay it lip service. They're like, I'll just go do half an hour on the bike. Their session should have been 90 minutes long, but after half an hour they're bored, so they get off. And they don't get what they were going to get from that run session in any format. They don't get the impact, but they also don't get the aerobic work. So it's like I said before, it can be a bit torturous. And you don't have to do it. You can always take a step back and go, maybe this time is not for me, and I'll I'll go away and work on some things and come back. But most people wouldn't
just keep
do
going,
that. They want to be on the start line.
I don't care if I walk it, I'm going to do the marathon.
Yeah, so they want to be there.
Yeah.
So for me, it's matching the quality and the intensity that you need to get. If you can do that, I think it has really good value.
Cross trainer or bike?
I think cross trainer or bike would be the two I'd go for.
What would you go for?
I tend to put people on the bike just because it's easy, you can control it a bit better.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to get the intensity on the bike. But if people are really used to cross trainers, that's fine. You can get these weird outdoor bikes now that look like a cross trainer.
Yeah, really
so
weird.
They look really weird,